I almost wasn't going to make this video, to be 100% honest with you, but I feel like this is something that needs to be talked about. I feel like God planted this message in my mind, so I'm going to be obedient. This video is mainly for men because men are important. Women are important too, but men are important as well. Men are supposed to be the leaders of their households. And I feel like this video needs to be directed towards men specifically. I want to preface this video by saying that there's a lot of good fathers out there, but there's also a lot of men out there that help create the baby and are not a present father in that baby's life. That baby eventually becomes a boy. That boy eventually becomes a teenager. And that teenager eventually becomes a man. A lot of times boys grow up as mama's boys. I'm a mama's boy myself. But even with that being true, we still, as boys, want the approval from our fathers. We want to feel good enough by our fathers. We want to feel like they care about us. We want to feel like they're proud of us. We want to feel when they look at us, they're proud to call us son. A lot of us didn't get that. A lot of us didn't get that. Even if the Father was present in our lives, a lot of us didn't get that validation. A lot of us didn't get that approval. A lot of us never even heard the words, "I'm proud of you, son. I'm proud of you." A lot of us never heard those words from our Father. So even if your father was present and he wasn't absent, you still could have had a present absent father, or a present father that showed you no affection, or a present father that never played with you, a present father that never spent time with you. I know for me, myself personally, my father was in my life, but he never showed me any affection. He never played with me. I feel like more than anything, a lot of times our fathers want to groom us into becoming the man that they want us to be and not who we desire to be. I remember I was at dinner and I told my father what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school. I told him I wanted to go to college, and I told him that I wanted to become a massage therapist. That wasn't good enough for him. My father's from Nigeria. And if you know anything about Nigerians want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, or some kind of entrepreneur. If you're not going to be any of those, that's not acceptable. College is non-negotiable, and there's nothing wrong with better education. But what if your desire to become something doesn't require you to go to college? Then as men, we're left to feel like, because I don't want to do what my dad wants me to do, I must be a failure. I must not be good enough. A lot of you out there have felt this feeling before, that you've let your father down because you're not doing what he wants you to do. You're not becoming the man that he wants you to become. I know that a lot of fathers out there mean well when they want you to become the best version of yourself you can be. They want you to become the best man that you can be. But what they don't realize is that every single life that comes onto this planet, we all have our own goals and dreams. And it's not always going to match their goals and dreams. So what do? We take our father's judgment and we instill it in our hearts. And then we grow up to become men. And we take a lot of their baggage with us. A lot of the words they said to us that hurt us, we take that with us. A lot of the words they didn't say to us that they should have said to us, we take that with us. And that trickles into our adult relationships. That trickles into how we're going to live our lives as men. Unless we stand up and put our foot down as a man and say, no, I'm not going to let that be my identity. I'm not going to let my father's words deter how I'm going to live my life. Some of you probably never even got a hug from your dad. Some of you probably never even heard your dad say the words, "I love you, son." Some people think that sounds crazy, but it's true. There are fathers that have never even uttered the words, "I love you, son." A lot of the reasons why they couldn't say it is because they didn't get it from their dads. They didn't get it from their fathers. So they're just repeating the cycle that was shown to them. And then they're showing you what was shown to them. And then eventually, if you're not a father now, and if God blesses you to become one, unless you step up and say, no, not me, you will repeat the same cycle with your children. They were a boy once too. They had a father, and maybe their father didn't validate them the way that they needed to be validated. So they took that with them, and they treat you the same way, because that's what was shown to them. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to repeat the cycle? Or are you going to be the one that breaks that generational pattern? Are you going to be the one that puts your foot down and says, I'm going to be the difference maker in my family bloodline. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to follow my passions. I'm going to follow my dreams. I'm going to do the things that I love to do, because that's what brings me happiness and fulfillment to my life. I'm going to show up for my son. I'm going to love my son. I'm going to take care of my son. I'm going to let my son know how much I love him every day. I'm going to tell my son I'm proud of him. I'm going to encourage my son. I'm going to tell my son to do whatever he wants to do to follow his dreams and his passions to become successful in his life. That's what we need to do as fathers. My father never played with me. He took me places, but he never played with me. Ever. Never played catch. Never played tag. Never played hide and go seek. Never played a video game with me. Never did any of those things with me. I'm a father now. And everything that my father didn't do with me, I do with my son. I play catch with my son. I play hide and go seek with my son. I play tag with my son. I play video games with my son. I laugh with my son. I do things with my son so that when he grows up and becomes a man, he will look back and remember how his father treated him, how his father played with him, how his father validated him, and how his father loved him. If you're a father and you're listening to this video, you need to do the same thing for your sons. For your daughters too, because they're equally important. But this is specifically for our men and our boys out there. Boys need their fathers. There are things that a father can talk to their sons about that a mother could never understand, because she's not a man. She might be a great woman. She might be the best mother you could ever ask for, but she's not a man. And boys need their fathers in their lives. I loved my dad. I didn't agree with everything that he did. I didn't agree with everything that he said, but I loved him. Have the unhealthy habits from your father affected you as a man? If it has, I encourage you to seek out therapy like I did myself. Seek out therapy. It will help you as a man. Because a lot of men out there, that inner child is still in us. And a lot of times our anger, it's not really anger at all. It's really the little boy inside of us that never got to cry. I was always told, straighten up, close your mouth. Boys don't cry. That's not true. Girls and boys cry. We all cry. It's a human emotion. So a lot of men are walking around with pent up emotions, angry because they never got to express it. There's nothing wrong with you if you want to cry as a man. Matter of fact, a lot of men need to cry. It might actually make you feel better. The main purpose of me making this video is I want to say something to you that probably no one ever said to you before. Your father might not have been there for you in your life. He might have been there for you and might not have loved you the way that you wanted to be loved. But I want to tell you something right now. You are not your father. You are not your father's mistakes. If you feel like you're a failure, you're not. If you feel like you're not good enough, you are. If you feel like you have more to offer to this world than what you've offered, you can do it. I'm proud of you for how far you've come, that you haven't thrown in the towel, that you haven't given up, that you're still here. I'm proud of you that you want to become a better man, that you want to do right by your children, that you want to do right by your wife, that you want to do right by your family. I'm proud of you because you're going to do what you need to do to be the one that breaks the generational patterns in your family bloodline. You will be the one. You're going to be the one. And if nobody else has ever told you as your father before, God, sitting on his holy throne, looks down upon you from his heavenly kingdom, looks right at you, and he says, I love you, son. I love you, son. I want the best for you, son. Make the right decision, son. And you know, every time that you make a right decision, every time you make a good decision, every time you make a better decision than you did the last time, God looks upon you and he says, I'm proud of you, son. I'm proud of you. This world, now more than ever, needs good men. So let's stand up and be that. You might have come from your father. You might have his blood in you. You might carry his last name. But you are not your father. You might love him to death like crazy. But you are not your father. You might not ever hear the words, "I'm proud of you, son," from your father. But I want to tell you, as your friend, I'm proud of you. After this video, from this moment forward, you're going to be the one that makes a difference in your family bloodline. Let's all do it together. Let's stand up and be the man that God intends for us to be.